Welcome to Look Behind the Look, the celebrated podcast that explores your favorite looks in film, television, and fashion history. Through conversations with the fashion world's elite and award-winning hair, makeup, and costume designers on sets around the world, you will see and hear exciting tales from behind the scenes, career origin stories, and tons of advice and tips. I'm your host, Tiffany Bartok.
Hi, everybody. I bet you're expecting to hear Tiffany, but no, it's me, your guest host, Jayce Bartok. I am so excited to talk about this film this week, Pretty Dirty, a film about the work of Marilyn Minter, an incredible photographer and artist, and let's not forget advocate, who I've admired and was fascinated to learn more about. I have the filmmakers Jennifer Rudick and Amanda M. Benchley, who are also authors on the show today, and we're going to dive into all things Marilyn. Marilyn's theme of taking really beautiful images and making them simultaneously powerful and dirty and interesting is something that really fascinates me. We're in the process of making a film on Dita Von Teese, who has similar ideas about glamour and beauty and how powerful these images can be. So I was really excited to dive in with them. This is kind of our annual DOCNYC episode. Our film Larger Than Life, the Kevin Aucoin story, premiered at DOCNYC a few years back, and it is a really fascinating and interesting festival here in New York City. So for those listening, Pretty Dirty is premiering Thursday, November 20th at 7:15 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. I highly recommend you get to DOCNYC and see it. It is just a wonderful film. I believe Marilyn will be there. I know when they premiered at the Hamptons, Cindy Sherman and other incredible luminaries showed up to support Marilyn. You can also see the film online starting Friday, February 21st through Sunday, November 30th through DOCNYC if you want to watch in the comfort of your own home. When you listen or watch this episode, you will recognize Marilyn's imagery. Even if you don't know her work, you'll be like, oh my God, I've seen this before, because her work has been so co-opted by advertising and cinema that you'll be pretty surprised to learn about the originator of a lot of these ideas and images. So let's dive in with Jennifer and Amanda.
Her work is beautiful and edgy and raises a lot of questions and is both easy on the eye and difficult.
I came to New York City in 1976. I just had this, tunnel vision. I'm going to come to New York and be an artist.
Marilyn is among that generation of women who the art world couldn't figure out or they were afraid of. And not only is she lived long enough to see that, she's still making work at a furious pace.
I haven't even done anything yet, in terms of what I want to make. My best work is yet to come.
So I am here with Jennifer Rudick and Amanda M. Benchley, and we are talking about Pretty Dirty, a documentary about Marilyn Minter. Thank you both for being on the podcast. First of all, absolutely love the film. So relevant, fascinating, learn so much about Marilyn's work and just think that she is so awesome. Can you guys tell me about how you came to this story and what inspired you to make a documentary about Marilyn Minter's life?
I think this is a good one for Jennifer because it started with her.
Okay, great. Thanks. So I think it was a while ago, but I made a documentary on Iris Apfel.
I love that movie.
Thank you. Thanks. It was, I saw I've known Marilyn for a few years, I've known her for actually many years. I've known her for over 20 years. And, and Marilyn to me had that same kind of ineffable freedom, nonconformist that speaks to something deeper in ourselves. In fact, Iris called herself a geriatric starlet, and Marilyn refers to herself as a senior curiosity. And I think that kind of what I saw when Marilyn was surrounded by her friends and people who know her as well as Iris is that there's such radical individualists that some people admire them, but they feel kind of threatened by it, or they find it aspirational. But there's definitely an uneasiness, and yet both people are so beloved and authentic. And I think it taps into something deeper in all of us. I think a lot of people crave to be much freer than they allow themselves to be. And of course in Maryland, so that's one layer of the story that I saw in Iris, of course, it was a New York story and a fashion story. And in Maryland, it's an art story and a New York story. And Marilyn is, it's very hard to illustrate some other points, which are kind of like talking about shame and alternative beauty and taking a female gaze in art from the male gaze, which allows us to, have the female gaze in life. And so Marilyn, the way Marilyn goes about life, and of course her art really reflects those topics and makes them kind of easy to talk about.
Loved that theme in the film. Absolutely loved. First of all, loved Iris, but I see how you would be drawn to Marilyn's story. But we are finishing a documentary on Dita Von Teese, the burlesque
Oh
performer.
yeah.
And I loved the kind of, in my mind, overlap of themes about how glamour is a tool for rebellion, right? But it also is sort of like a box that someone can be put in as like representing the male gaze, and how Marilyn sort of turns that on its head. And there's similar themes to Dita's life in that she is so glamorous, but she has inspired this sort of freedom of expression. So it's like Marilyn's work walks that fine line as well. So I was just fascinated, by that theme, very much so. And also the late in life kind of journey that at one point in the film, she says, I'm 53, and she's finally getting like a show again, right?
No, she's actually not getting a show. She says that she, without giving it all too much away, but she was canceled in the early 90s. And then she had a comeback, but I'm gonna say like maybe in the early 2000s, an art dealer came to her and were like, "We want to do a show. How old are you?" And she said, "I'm 53." And then she never heard from the art dealer again.
Right.
It was like sort of the first note of ageism.
Is,
Is obviously another theme that we are exploring since Marilyn's tackling the idea of ageism with her art.
Yeah, I love that. I think we mentioned a little bit before we started rolling that my mom, Leanne Bartok, was a painter that came to Soho in the early 80s, could not get into the art world at all. Total male dominated, absolutely, impossible to kind of penetrate. So watching how Marilyn, like her journey, it was extremely inspiring, and you definitely feel that she's sort of, with Jane Fonda and Monica Lewinsky and Lizzo, like that she's in kind of the prime of her creative, output right now. So that was like incredibly inspiring to see. Amanda, how did you come to the film?
I came because Jennifer and I have been friends and colleagues for a long time, through sort of documentary work and also working at Mazel's Documentary Center in Harlem.
Oh,
We were both on the board of that.
wow.
Um, and so she and I had been always talking and exploring film ideas. And I knew Marilyn from a book I had written about artists, personal collections of artists in their homes. So I had my own sort of Marilyn channel and experience with her. So when Jennifer suggested it, I just said yes. I mean, she's as Jennifer always calls her, she's the ultimate leading lady. So it seemed like a no-brainer.
Absolutely. How long did the film take? What were the big challenges? As I know, you both produce, direct, making documentaries is like one of the hardest. It's like the marathon running of filmmaking. What were some of the biggest challenges, and how long did it take you?
It took us 3 years. And, I would say this was really less challenging than a lot of other projects I've worked on, and a few that I've worked on that haven't seen the light of day yet.
Mhm.
And I have hours and hours of footage, and they're really, I believe, great subjects, but things don't always work out in documentaries. You don't get the funding, the subject loses interest, the timing doesn't work for the editor or the shooters or whatever. They're oftentimes like passion projects, so they don't always work out. And this, we had a little hiccup in the beginning where, we kind of over probably like got, we probably, I think Marilyn chickened out early on.
Mm,
She said yes, then she chickened out. Totally understandable. I don't know if you'd ever want to, like, I don't know how interesting a subject would be, if they never chickened out of a documentary. That seems not too human to me.
right,
But
right.
yeah, and then we got back on course. And documentaries, like, funding is always a thing. And we got super lucky with that, with some incredibly generous executive producers. And one of our producers had a lot of experience in funding, and she, Debbie Wish, and she was amazing helping us with that. And and so it went along, like, as far as documentaries go, I would say it was pretty good. Now we're entering the sales phase. So
Right, right, right,
let's see how that part
right. The
goes.
sales phase. And
We're super lucky we have Amanda LeBeau at CAA representing.
oh, that's great. That's
So,
great.
yeah, I don't know if you know her, but we feel it's in great hands. If anyone can do it, she can, but it's not an easy market.
And did you guys have your premiere at Hamptons yet?
No, this weekend.
This weekend. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, just wanted to get my dates straight.
Yeah,
That's going to be so exciting. I know the audience is absolutely going to love the film. Is Marilyn going to be in attendance? Yeah, right?
100%.
Oh my
And,
God.
That's the
and
other
all sorts
thing.
of art, other Cindy Sherman, who's her best friend. And so she's done. Marilyn has a new painting show of her icons opening in LA. And Cindy Sherman is one of them, as is Jane Fonda, as is Jeff Koons, and those will all be debuted. But we're going to have a lot of sort of starry art people in the audience as well this weekend.
Oh my God. Is
Yeah.
Saturday night premiere?
Saturday morning,
Saturday
Saturday
actually.
morning.
morning and
Oh,
Sunday afternoon.
okay.
But yeah, that you know what I think we also got so lucky with Marilyn, that um, people come out for her.
Right.
And she opened her Rolodex to us, and you don't want the doc to look like a tribute, and it doesn't. But what was really amazing about it, and I found this with Iris too, is people will take our calls. They'll be on film when they normally wouldn't, and yet they'll speak very honestly about the person's ups and downs and the pluses and minuses. It's not all sugar coated. So and they're coming out for the premieres. So we also premiere in New York City at Doc NYC
Oh,
on
great. Yeah,
November 20th. They're not
yes.
making their announcements today. Have you shown a film there?
Yes, our Kevin O'Quan doc played Hamptons and then
Oh,
Doc NYC. Yeah,
great.
great. Love Doc NYC.
I love
Love.
that doc. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. I love too how well, one, how you got Jane Fonda, who is so outspoken but still to talk about. She was like, I don't do sex anymore. Or
Yeah.
you got into that whole chapter of, she was like, I can't get that book of yours, Marilyn, because it's just like I can't do that, and just all of those things are just so relevant. And it was just wonderful that the film went that way. But what you were talking about is also um the like access to the subject. Like how did that relationship go with Marilyn? Like, she was reluctant at first, and then what was that process like where she sort of let you in? You captured her at work, you captured her with her husband. How did that process go? What were the once she committed, it was smoother?
Yeah.
Well, we so what happened is that we wanted to just do a pure verite film.
Right.
And that's when she sort of chickened out because we said, can we have your, hair salon appointments? Can we have your entire diary? Because we want to follow it all. And then she
Mm,
said, and then Jennifer and I regrouped and said, okay, we can do this a different way where it won't be all verite and we'll bring in these other people.
mhm.
And then because Marilyn is a leading lady, she got quickly accustomed to the camera. And then she would say things like, do you want me to do that over again?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
funny. I was at a wedding over the weekend and I was sitting next to an artist, Matthew. I didn't get his last name, but I was like, yeah, I just watched this documentary on Marilyn Minter. He was like, oh, I know Marilyn.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, everybody knows Marilyn. And he was just talking about, like, of course, how she's this force, like you can't miss Marilyn, and that you can feel her lighting up, in front of the camera. throughout the process of the film, very much so.
Well,
Um,
Randy Kennedy, who runs Ursula magazine for Hauser and Wirth and was a New York Times critic. I don't think it made it into the film, but we interviewed him, and he spent a lot of time talking about her being like a great Southern dame because she is Southern, despite the fact
right.
that she's so associated with New York. But she has all of that steel magnolia sort of charm to this day.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Uh, I love how you use the letters from her mom as, because always a challenge with the documentary. For those of you who are listening who are thinking about making a documentary, is the antagonist, right? Like, what's the antagonist to the story? Like, in our case, for Dita, she doesn't have an antagonist, even though she was married to Marilyn Manson, who seems like the biggest antagonist in the world. But, like, when you're trying to structure the film, so I loved how you use the letters from her mom as this very, like, relatable and real thing, like, telling her, like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're going down the wrong path. So, can you tell me about, like, difficulty structuring the story, how those letters worked in, and how you navigated, the flashbacks or the kind of linear? I think you guys kept it pretty linear in terms of like present day in the studio and jumping back to sort of her, moving through the New York art world. What were the challenges to the structure?
And Amanda can speak to this too, but Amanda loves archival. Me,
That's right.
not
Well,
so much.
Who
I,
doesn't? Who
well,
doesn't?
I worked for A&E and the History Channel for a long time, so it's really my
But
Right.
background.
to me, I don't know. It's when it's kind of like you film and film and film, and then by the time you're finished filming, and of course you're kind of organizing footage and thinking of storylines the whole time, but it just becomes clear, what it should be.
Hmm.
And so we did try at one point to do like a storyboard and to kind of do a script
Right.
but I don't think that was more like a way to process and regroup. I don't think we ever stuck to anything. And we were very much, like in the moment and, trying to figure out the story as we went along. And Marilyn kind of came up with she was talking about her mother and she said, yo, she used to write me letters. I was like, oh my God, those would be great to see but I never thought she would have kept those letters. She's like, oh, I have them all,
Wow.
which is so crazy that she kept those very hurtful letters. And and so she said she would read them on screen, and that was like a gift. And then Amanda went over and re had her reread some, and then Philip Sanchez, our assistant editor, did the graphics of her writing them, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just would you say that, Amanda? The story
Well,
just
I
kind of
think the mother, is everything in this
Hmm.
story,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Because the mother also is the germ or the kernel of her pretty dirty sort
Mhm.
of
Her
uh,
creative breakthrough. Yeah.
right, and also just the sort of tension that she's always working with, and like back to what you were saying about the using the idea of glamour, like in this film, the artist Jenna Gribben says, like that she and Marilyn use beauty as a Trojan horse, and
Hmm.
that you have these very beautiful images they paint, and then you look closer, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? This is pubic hair, or like,
Right.
this is a very dirty shoe that we thought was a beautiful sparkling shoe. So the mom sort of encapsulated that because she's this very glamorous Southern mom who was a drug addict and
Right.
was very unkempt at the
It's the
same
the
time.
fungus under the fingernails.
Right, right.
But
Right.
also, and her mom also, as you see through the letters on a whole nother level, it just instilled so much shame in her. And
Mm.
it's a shame that she is always trying to work through. And I think that's so relatable for many of us. I don't know why, but women are born into shame, it seems like.
Mm.
And trying to get through that is part of Marilyn's journey.
Yeah,
That really comes through in the film. Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
What is next? Obviously, you guys are premiering at the Hamptons and you're looking for a distribution deal, which I know you will get. What's next
Oh,
for
from your lips to God's ears.
what's next for for the both of you? I guess you're seeing this through, but anything that you're working on that you're, anything you're working on right now?
We have
We have
ideas.
books
I know we both do books.
because we're journalists. Yeah.
It's funny, Amanda and I have parallel lives because we both have book contracts and books and deadlines and books coming out. But we love this. I think we both just love storytelling. So, but we've definitely have some ideas that we've thrown back and forth. But it takes
When's your book coming out, Jennifer?
spring, and then I have another one coming out spring 2026, and I have another one coming out fall 2026.
But what can you tell us what the books are? What they're about? Can you tell
Oh,
us?
sure, sure. So I do these books with Fundome Press, and this one that's coming out is books on houses and gardens of the Hamptons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And but they're a little bit, I like to think of them as a little bit like this. The houses are not always decorated, some of them are just like family houses that are a little unkempt, a little maybe a world of interiors, things you wouldn't normally see, to kind of create a portrait of life out there. And then I have one coming out in next fall on small spaces,
Oh,
but
wow.
aspirational small spaces, kind of small wonders, it's called.
Wow.
Yeah. And Amanda, when is yours coming out? Amanda's like on her third in a series.
Second, yeah, I have a book called Hudson Folk about the creative community in the Hudson Valley,
Oh,
by the
wow.
way, that Marilyn is a part of, though it was a little bit double dipping, so we did not profile Marilyn for this book,
Right.
but it's a sequel to a book that came out a couple of years ago about the creative community of Martha's Vineyard, which,
Wow.
by the way, Marilyn's part of both of those communities,
Oh, wow. That's
but
fun.
yeah, it's the same. I mean, Jennifer and I, yeah, we're just in personalities and communities and creatives
Yeah.
Right.
like
And
Marilyn.
yeah, I think something else about Marilyn and about Iris and about like maybe Tita Von Teese, Vita,
Dita.
Dita.
Dita Von Teese is is that they're known in their circles. They're so well, everybody knows all of them, right? But
Mhm.
they are leading ladies, but they're not known to the larger world. So
Completely. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
still this room to kind of, explore and a room to introduce them to people. It's not like making a celeb doc or something, which is super exciting. And, I hope this, um, it's just super exciting to introduce someone to the larger world who has already fascinated the world that she lives in, the people in the world she lives in. And it's hard to find that. So we're looking for another subject like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, like Marilyn, like as one of our other little sort of subtexts is that like she's impacted all of us. Even if you haven't heard of Marilyn, her eye and her art has impacted film and advertising and television and music videos in such a way that almost feels like when you go back and look at her, you're like, oh, it's derivative, but actually no, she's the original.
Oh, that came through like so loud and clear. Like those images are so embedded into, fashion and music video and, I felt that like, I knew her name, but I really didn't know that much about her. But then I was like, oh, okay.
Great.
In the story about Tom Ford and like his $40,000 shoes or whatever getting muddy and can you talk a little bit about her creative process? Because the podcast Look Behind the Look is obviously about the look behind the look. So the what you were just describing, that pretty dirty aesthetic is so iconic. Can you talk about her process of creating these incredibly beautiful and not grotesque, but arresting images, like and getting to know her and what was the glimpse into her process?
Provocative, I think, is the word you're looking
Thank
for.
you. Provocative.
Glamorous, but provocative. But also, I'm so glad you said that because that means we did our job of telling her story. So that makes me feel
Oh,
great.
completely. And the living with her, like with her husband in the gardens and all these other aspects to her life, like she has that quality that you know her, but she's still like you don't know her. You know what I mean? So didn't feel like a celebrity doc in any way. But yeah, could you talk about her process? Like, how does she come up with this imagery? I know in the film she talks about working on images for like 3 years, and she just kind of works away. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Um, well, she chooses this most recent work, I'll say, they're her heroes, so they're people who have inspired her, Glenn Ligon, Ryan McGinley, Jane Fonda, Lizzo, Monica Lewinsky, Cindy Sherman. She's painted them all.
Gloria
And
Steinem.
Gloria Steinem, Pamela Anderson. She did Pamela Anderson, by the way, like long before Pamela Anderson, as we know her now. Like she
Hmm.
took all of her Pamela's makeup off, and she cut her hair and put her in the shower and put her with her dogs. And, she humanized her before Pamela had the courage to humanize herself. And I think part of Marilyn doing that for her, I can't help but I can't speak for either of them, but I can't help but imagine that that was part of the process. And so she humanizes these people and paints them because, she believes in them and wants to put them out there. And the process itself, Amanda can probably speak much more articulately about this, but it's enamel on aluminum, enamel on metal.
A medal, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very slow, tedious process. And what Marilyn has often said is she doesn't think, I mean, she does believe that her art will survive the test of time. But part of the reason she thinks so is not just because she's a skilled painter in the old master way, but also because it's a craft, and what she's doing is really hard to do. It's Amanda, can you speak more articulately about this?
That was very articulate.
That was very articulate, but I think like
Very articulate, Jennifer.
yeah, I think backing up is that, she works from photography.
Yeah.
So
Right.
she takes a million photographs of her subject, then she photoshops and takes an eye from this place, from this photo, and puts together the image that she wants to paint. And then she blows it up, they trace it, and then it's just layers and layers and layers of enamel paint, which is like nail polish, right? So it's shiny, it's not oil paint. Um, and they take a year, and then finally they're sort of laminated to be even extra shiny and glamorous and appealing and irresistible. And so that's her technical process.
And I love her touching
Yeah,
the paint.
right, the
The
Yeah,
finger,
because
yeah.
Kevin O'Quan, he put on makeup with his like giant hands,
Mhm.
and pretty painful to all the supermodels. But like I saw, she's doing that, and I thought about like in the film, you do a good job of showing you can see the fingerprints in there, and you say that it like she says that it adds. I can't remember the expression that gives them room to breathe or they come to life. I think almost because like the space between the fingerprints like makes them feel like they're organically kind of constructed, even though they're these beautiful, like the most beautiful photographic, glamorous images. I love too the freedom that she has to like grab an eye from this Cindy Sherman and put this other Cindy Sherman eye here, but it all comes back around to being this sort of painterly, organic thing in the end. So it has this sort of very glossy, shiny, glamorous thing, but also this very like kind of touched, painted thing, you know?
The tactileness, right?
Yes.
So you know that it's made by hand, right?
Yeah.
And we shot all of that with a macro lens, so you could really see sort of the her actual fingerprints up close.
Yeah. And I love the time in the studio with the steaming and the wiping it off and the steaming and seeing that her team of collaborators they seem to have been with her like for her entire career. Her studio manager, her assistant, I forget his name, but
Johan.
yeah,
Johan.
Johan. He's such a great in the film.
Fix a
But it
broken
seems like
arm.
yeah. So how to like I guess how that also to me symbolizes an artist that, when you have that kind of like close family and those kind of ties. In the film, you talk about it. This is like another family, right? She created her own family.
Yeah, and I think in hearing about the painting, I'm thinking, we called that in our minds when we were doing the film. That scene is we call the magic of painting when we were
Right.
putting it together. And it made me think about like why back to why I choose Marilyn is another thing that had struck me when I did Iris is like, you know, this is a story that can best be told on film. It's not a play, it's not a book, it's not a magazine article, it's not a newspaper article, as hard as people might try. And we work with what we're given. But to experience that, the glory of Marilyn's painting and of her process and of her relationships, it's really best told in a documentary. So it's kind of it's the closest you're going to get to an actual experience, you know?
You feel that in the
Yeah.
film, like just all those things we were just talking about. I think it's like such a great representation of, you really feel her work.
Yeah, thanks. And I think and that now bouncing back to this selected family is I think that's super relatable these days too, when so many people are separated from their family, whether they want to be or not, or they are, a lot of people in New York don't live with their families, and we have these chosen families, much more so than we used to, um, and it's really beautiful to see how they have how they support and hold up one another, and they all have been with her for a very long time. And that's saying something because they're in that studio working very hard. And even though the deadlines are sometimes like 4 years away, they're always on deadline. They always have that hanging over their head because she's
Yeah.
a working artist who's being, her art is being, she has shows scheduled. It's a job at this point for her. And she understands that too. She is through and through an artist, but she is a professional.
Oh yeah, you feel that she balances, um, I guess like the Andy Warhol of it all with
Yeah.
something that is completely unique to her. That she is a professional, but she's, so you definitely feel that. I love, yeah, too, when she's like, if I broke my arm, right, I would trust him to set it off of
Yeah.
a YouTube video. But thank you both. I wish you the best of luck. I know the film will find its way. It's just a wonderful film. I really enjoyed it, and good luck Saturday and Sunday at the Hamptons. And Doc NYC is in November, correct?
Yeah, I hope you'll come.
I'm gonna come to Doc NYC. There was a chance I might make it to the Hamptons this
Ooh,
weekend, but it is our anniversary. So
Okay.
no better place to spend it than the Hamptons Film Festival.
don't you want to
But
celebrate it with us?
I
And
know I would love to come and see the film on the big screen. You're gonna have such a great screening. People are gonna love the film.
thank
But
you.
congrats and thank you both for talking about Pretty Dirty, your documentary about Marilyn Minter, Amanda and Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank,
you for having
thank
us.
you. Super
Yeah,
fun.
it's great.
Look Behind the Look is a Vinyl Foot production, written by me, your host, Tiffany Bartok, produced by Jayce Bartok, edited by Mugresh Thakor. If you're interested in learning more, find our video version on the YouTube channel, Look Behind the Look Podcast. There you can see rare photos and clips from our guests. And please follow us on Twitter at LookBehindPod and Instagram at LookBehindTheLook. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe. And tell your friends and spread the word. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any podcatcher of your choice. Thanks for listening to Look Behind the Look.